the absolutely incredible here today who are going to be sharing with you about why they have chosen to partner with an incredible company called LifeVantage. I am here on the beautiful Sunshine Coast. I thought I'd bask in the sunshine and hang outside for a little while. And I am, for those of you who don't know me, my name is Grace Higgins. I am an Elite Pro 7 here on the beautiful Sunshine Coast. It's not very winterish today. We're all in shorts outside. And I have three absolutely incredible guests on here today. One of those is the absolutely incredible Dr. Deb. I sincerely apologize if I mispronounce your surname, Deb, but we have the incredible Dr. Deb Viglione, who is a board certified physician over in the United States who has partnered with our company and is going to answer some questions today on why she's chosen LifeVantage and to partner with such an incredible company LifeVantage, and really what she's seen with the products and the incredible stories that she's heard and had, experiences with LifeVantage. We've also got 30-year veteran Vicky Jamison, who lives in the beautiful Melbourne, who again is a beautician with 30 years experience in the beauty industry, and she's going to share with us why she chose LifeVantage and what the differences in the skincare and the beauty industry that she has seen. And we also have the beautiful Michelle Heatherly from Auckland, New Zealand. Again, she was partnered with a previous company and she was actually the beauty ambassador or the skincare ambassador for that company, and she's going to talk to us today about what the differences she's seen in the skincare ranges that we have with LifeVantage and the differences in the skincare that you can purchase from the likes of a salon or a beautician or a shop floor. So we're going to, without further ado, I'm going to introduce the amazing Deb Viglione, who's going to answer a couple of questions about LifeVantage. So Deb, if you're able to unmute yourself, that would be amazing.
Good morning.
Oh my gosh, I am so excited. How are you?
I'm great. I just got off the beach. So it's evening here. So
lovely. What's the weather like over there?
Oh, it's gorgeous. It was actually really, really hot. Bright blue sky, not a cloud out there. The water was green-blue.
Beautiful.
Gorgeous.
Oh my goodness. So let's start off by, are you able to give us your background, your career, your experience? What have you been doing the past, 30 years?
Well, I trained in internal medicine, which is really adult medicine, systemic illness, diabetes, high blood pressure, heart disease. And my passion was actually cancer, because I thought that if I became an internal medicine doctor, I would be an oncologist and I would cure cancer. And when I did my rotation, wow, what a rude awakening. I mean, they were poisoning people and they were dying, they weren't curing anything. So I decided, well, I can't do that, and didn't really want to change. So I finished my residency and I'd figure out what I was going to do later. And I was in the Air Force, so I was practicing internal medicine in there. And when I guess I got interested in more holistic medicine was when I had to go through natural childbirth at Edwards Air Force Base, because you couldn't get an epidural. And so, oh shoot, I had to mute my phone.
Oh, wow.
So my childbirth instructor, had some knowledge about things and things. I was in California, and they're way ahead of the other states anyway in the U.S. And came back here to Florida and told some people to go to the local health food store and get some echinacea for their colds and sore throat. Well, the health food store started sending all of their people to me. And this was back in the 1990s when there was chronic fatigue, fibromyalgia, all that was starting. And nobody knew what to do with them. They all said they were crazy and sent them to me. And I tried to get them out of my office because I didn't know what to do with them either. But they kept coming. And so I figured I'd better learn to treat them because they weren't going to leave. They were going to keep coming. So I'm basically self-taught because they didn't have programs. There were a few books to read back then. And I had a resident that knew something about alternative complementary medicine. And I had a patient come in that was menopausal. And she brought a book and said, here, you read it, and then you got to treat me. So the local pharmacist and I figured out how to do natural therapy.
Wow.
Versus, but that's how my journey began, and I've been doing it for a long time and just getting better and better at it.
That's incredible. So how were you introduced to LifeVantage?
That's kind of a funny story too, because I was at the World Congress for Anti-Aging in Las Vegas. And I had met somebody from New York, and we were supposed to hang out together. Well, I got there, and my husband had bailed at the last minute, didn't get on the plane because he was having trouble with his kids. So I was really mad at him. So I called up Bill and said, Bill, hey, where are you? And he starts describing that he's hanging out with these other doctors. And I was like, this sounds like a network marketing convention. And so he's talking about it. I said, oh my God. I said, you're at their pep rally. Bill, they're brainwashing you. Get away. And then he was arguing. I said, oh my God, they've already given you, you're drinking the purple Kool-Aid. Run, dude. Come on. Let's get away. And he wouldn't do it. So I was really mad. I said, fine, I'm going to bed. I'm not going to their pep rally. And so I was hoping he would ditch him the next day and hang out with me, but it became very clear that I was either going to be alone in Vegas or I was going to hang out with these weirdos from LifeVantage. So that's how it started. But I ended up hanging out with them the whole weekend and went to a lecture. Actually, the chief science officer at the time was giving a lecture, and they dragged me to it. And I was making fun of them the whole weekend about being network marketers. I went to the lecture, and I was blown away with the science. And I was like, oh my God, I got to eat all my words. I was like, yes, absolutely, I'm in, you know. And so that's how it started, but they still laugh at me.
Oh my gosh, what an incredible introduction to LifeVantage. That's amazing.
Well, all I had to do was see the science, and I was in, you know, it's like, okay.
Yes. So being a board certified physician, what attracted you to the products as opposed to the business opportunity?
Well, at the time, there was just the NRF2, and then there was NRF2 skincare. And so I had known, being in the field I am, that oxidative stress is really the root cause of all aging and disease. And we weren't making a dent on it. I don't care what people say. I was sending people out with 40, 60 supplements, and they were getting better, but really not like what I wanted. Okay, so when I had this tool, I knew that it was going to happen faster. They weren't going to need as much stuff. And so that, I was so excited. I came back and I said, I have to get through Christmas and I'm going to order. So I ordered $2,500 worth of NRF2 and started putting, so I was pro 2 because you could do that back then. And started putting people on it, and just, I was checking labs every 2 months because I wanted to see when the lab started to change, which was really somewhere between 4 and 6 months. But I was so excited because I knew everything was going to be different from that point on, and it has been.
Yeah, wow. So you said that you noticed differences in patients at around the 4 to 6 month mark.
Right.
So you believe that...
feel better quicker, but their labs didn't really change until then.
Yeah, wow. So, you know, they say that for every decade you've been alive, you are on it for that amount of months. Do you have anything that you would like to add to that?
Well, when we had the NRF1 available, things started happening faster. And that's because those two pathways work together. I just explain it simply, you have to have energy to do the work in the body. So the NRF1 was providing more energy to get the work done faster. But if you look biochemically, those paths are integrally related. Like, they can't do it without each other. So you're augmenting both pathways. And I actually saw less side effects from people doing detox, getting rid of the bad stuff out of the body because their body was more efficient and removed waste. And now that we have the NAD, that's jazzing it up even further. So, you know, I think, yes, I tell people don't expect immediate results because, you know, you've got to improve your cellular health, and you really don't know what's lurking underneath the surface and how long it's going to take for each person. But I expect it's going to be, you know, quicker, you know, adding the NAD based on the gene activation studies. So
in your opinion, what do you believe can prolong longevity and prolong health span in a person?
I think you've got to hit, you know, a lot of different areas, but if you hit the oxidative stress, which is behind it all, that's behind mitochondrial health, everything. You've got to get the free radicals down in the body. So if you can do that, that is major. and then you start, cleaning up your diet, doing the exercise. But, up until we had this, people that were cleaning up their diet, doing exercise, they weren't seeing the results they want, especially as they got older, because their body needed help. They needed that gene activation to kick it in. So that's the primary thing. Of course, now with the NAD, we have that one study in mice that longevity was increased with the NRF2, and they were underdosed for half the study. So you have to remember that we probably would have seen bigger results if they'd had the proper dose. But I'd love somebody to do a study with the tri-synergizer in mice, because I think we'd see something astounding.
Oh my goodness.
Human beings are longevity genes. So I don't know.
Wouldn't that be amazing? Watch this space, I'm sure.
More studies, because, being on the scientific advisory board, we want study. But I get our CEO, because he's like, is it really going to help us sell more product? We already know this stuff is amazing. We have 27 peer-reviewed studies. Are 10 more really going to change anything? And he's right, probably not, because people are out there selling products that have no studies, So, is it really going to change our bottom line? Probably not, and it's going to be expensive. So we're very fortunate that universities have been coughing up their own money to do these studies, but LifeVantage doesn't really want it. They don't think it's a good use of our funds, and they're probably right.
So just for someone who's never, is brand new to this experience, they've never heard about, free radicals, oxidative stress, or peer-reviewed studies, can you just explain in your words what a peer-reviewed study is, or what makes a study become peer-reviewed, and how much is involved?
It's actually quite a bit, most of it, because what you have is you have journals that are peer-reviewed journals. That means they have a board that decides what gets published. Like we're just publishing one right now on the use of ozone. It's called, the use of ozone, a novel therapy in COVID-19. And it just got accepted for publication in a peer-reviewed journal. But we sent our draft, and they sent it back and said, you've got to do this, this, and this, and they asked questions. And so we had to send it back, I think, 3 times before they accepted initially, because they liked what we had, but we had to revise it. So a lot of people are doing research, and they call them white papers, where they just do their research and they put it out there, because we've got the internet now, we've got everywhere. They can just put their research out there, but that doesn't mean anybody's looked at it and said, okay, I think this is good science. And one of the things that bugs me the most now is, in our country, the FDA is really deciding what's good science, because they are being paid by the drug companies. 45% of their budget's coming from the drug companies to get their studies approved and get their drugs out there. So to me, that's not real science. Real science is stuff that's passed a peer-reviewed journal. And even then, I'll tell you this, but you can have stuff in there, like one of the guys that's peer-reviewed on the one we did, he's got his own studies on COVID, and he wanted to make sure we referenced his studies, so we had to change some of what we wrote so that his studies get referenced. So there's like stroking each other's egos.
Yes.
Goes on in that process too.
My goodness.
So that's what was so amazing, because I don't know if you guys have watched that ABC primetime video that John Quinones did, because the universities then approached LifeVantage and said, hey, we want to study your product. So we have all these peer-reviewed studies, because they've asked to purchase the product to study it. That's amazing, because most of the time, it's hard to get something published in a peer-reviewed journal, especially if it's a nutritional product or something like we're doing for ozone, which is considered so out there.
Yeah, wow. So someone who, as I said, who's never been exposed to this kind of products, industry, biohacking, the nutrigenomics, the industry we're slowly starting to creep out there, what would you say to someone who is already taking supplements and, they're being exposed to LifeVantage and NRF1 and 2 activation and NAD? What would you say to someone who is already taking supplements?
Say that that's great, but you're probably not doing the latest technology. And I've got somebody right now, a doctor, she loves what she's on. I said, well, I'm going to look at it, but it's not about taking antioxidants anymore. Our technology, that's old technology. Now we're moving to new technology, which is gene activation. Now, she may still need to take her multi, In fact, LifeVantage is actually looking at, are we going to offer a multi only to look at nutrition, because our food are horrible. We're not getting enough nutrition in our foods right now. But the whole idea of taking big dose antioxidants to reduce aging and disease, they've already showed that that doesn't work. So we would be taking it to facilitate those pathways that we're activating to actually improve our nutritional status from where we may be nutrient deficient, probably particularly in minerals, but not so much antioxidants. So, it's just a whole new paradigm shift in health is gene activation. And so, I just say, well, let's, look at what you're taking, and explain maybe, say, hey, go look up NRF2, geez, you got the internet. Now you can put Google images and look at that, or, whatever, and they'd be like, ooh, but say how the body makes antioxidants, and they're much more powerful than taking them.
Oh my goodness.
Vitamin C knocks out one free radical. If you turn on an NRF2, you knock out millions every second in every cell. No nutritional supplement is going to do that.
Yes. Did I just hear you maybe drop a little multivitamin, something about multivitamins?
We're talking about it because our new science officer, that's the background he comes from, and he's worked extensively with the Linus Pauling Institute. So he's real into that. And we were like, well, look, our messaging all along has been, you don't need to take antioxidants. Now you're going to tell us that. We thought if we do it, it's going to have to be marketed differently. This is not replacing this. This is just adding to make sure you're nutritionally sound, just because our food quality stinks. Even if you're eating organic, it's super hard. Nobody can eat organic 100% of the time, and eat all the vegetables and the things that you're supposed to do. It's just hard. So it would be something, just to add to your nutrition.
Yeah, wow, that's exciting. Hot off the press there.
We're not to develop it yet. We're just talking about it.
Putting out your feelers to see what's happening. Mm-hmm. So, LifeVantage has just released a new product called NAD. What is your experience with NAD, or what sets that NAD synergizer above all other NAD synergizers out there on the market?
We're doing something very different, and actually we're not sure exactly how it's working. The whole purpose of NAD is to activate the sirtuin genes, which are longevity genes that they work with NRF1 and NRF2, so they all kind of work together. And everybody wants to activate those sirtuin genes. That's why they've been looking at resveratrol and the wine and the French paradox. So the only way that they really found to do it now, and it made big history, was using nicotine riboside, which is just a supplement. And we went head to head, our product, against the leading nicotine riboside, and we activated the gene, or the sirtuins, 100% with 2 capsules in 24 hours. They did 2%. And it takes a 72-hour fast, water fast, to activate at 94%. So we are leaps and bounds ahead of anybody out there. And we're not sure how we're doing it, but we know it's gene activation. Now we're going to do studies trying to figure out exactly what we're doing in the cell. So what they did is they bought kits to measure sirtuin activity, because that's what we were trying to get. We got a combination that gave us 100%. Now we got to figure out how we're doing it. So they're doing that now. But it's pretty cool because we are so far ahead of anything out there. And who wants to fast for 72 hours? I certainly don't.
Not me. I can tell you that much. So I have a question for you. So I'm in my mid-20s, and when I became involved in LifeVantage, it was dragon's blood to me. I'm sure it sounds like a very similar situation to how you were involved and invited. So what would you say to someone between the ages of, 25, early 20s to, mid-30s, who, you're trying to speak to them about this whole anti-aging and, aging slower, aging better? What would you say sets us apart? And, we think we're bulletproof. I think, well, no, not anymore. But, you feel like you're bulletproof when you're in those early 20s. What would you say to someone, or your kids or your nephews and nieces, to introduce them to LifeVantage's products?
Yeah, that's kind of hard. My daughters are in their 20s. And at first, when I started, they were just like, yeah, right, Mom. They're all on it now, and they all love it. I don't know. I think they just watched me, and they saw the changes in me, and the fact that I'm not aging. like when they go out, it's so funny because they'll see other people's moms and they're like, oh my gosh, you know, is that what normal people look like at the age, you know? So, you know, you can tell them, you may think you're bulletproof and look at your skin, look at your mom, look at people that are a decade older, 2 decades older, you know, you can slow that down and kind of keep that skin and everything. You know, you want to keep healthy on the inside as far as the outside. So tell them you're just looking at it as prevention. You know, you don't, I mean, I look at, okay, so I do a lot of hormones and I said, look at the older movies, you know, and what people look like at 50, you know, and then look at Hollywood now and look like what people look at 50 or, you know, right. I always mention is Jane Fonda. My gosh, she looks amazing. And Suzanne Summers, you know, those people are up there in age. You know, she's in her, I think Jane Fonda's in her 80s. You know, not that she hasn't had plastic surgery, yeah, but she can still do a ton of stuff. And she doesn't know. Well, she could be on our products. I don't know. But, you know, just think what you can do to reverse that and, you know, keep things going. And I mean, I'm functioning better than I did in my 30s. You know, this stuff's amazing.
Oh my goodness, that goes months. I see being a nurse.
I feel like my daughters are so lucky. I'm like, you guys may not really age like other people do.
Right? I see people at work, working in a hospital setting, and I look at them and I look at their age and I go, oh my goodness, you don't look like you're 40, you look like you're 70. So
horrible. Yeah, you don't want that.
No way. So there's a ton of anti-aging. This is sort of your absolute, you know, specialty. There's a ton of anti-aging products, skincare, hair care on the market. You touched on it before, but what really sets us apart from those anti-aging products out there?
Yeah, it's just the gene activation that you're doing in the skin cells. And, you know, we're not allowed in our country to talk structure, function, like what's going on beyond the appearance. But for me, okay, so I'm still network marketing for a nightmare. I'm like, okay, we got a ringer here with the NRF2, but I knew enough about it, marketing, that you got to buy a certain amount every month to make money. And I said, well, they had to come up with something else. So I figured they came up with some watered down skincare. And I wasn't about to try it because I had good skincare that I was using and I love my skincare and I'd been through a lot of it. But the doctor that signed me up just kept bugging me. So I was like, fine, I'll do it. And within 4 days, literally, people started to comment on my skin. And I was like, whoa. And then a month into it, a patient said, because they know I have a lot of machines and I do things, she goes, what did you do to your skin? I saw you a month ago. Don't lie to me. I know you did something. Tell me what you did. And I said, I guess it's this stuff, you know? So then I started looking up the science, which you guys can do. There's a nice little blurb on NRF2science.com, and you can look up skin and drop down and you can see pictures. And I did when I had to present on our stuff, I went and looked up the patent numbers and then went and looked up the patent. And oh my gosh, I mean, it's way beyond anything even I understand, but I'm like, this is impressive, you know, that we were able to get a patent on what it does, but it's definitely doing something on the cellular level. Then most skin cares are just hydrating your skin, you know. I mean, and it's the same thing. You might put vitamin A or vitamin E, and it may help a little, but it's not doing the same thing. So it's very impressive.
Oh my gosh, I actually just got head to toe goosebumps when you said that about your skin, and it really is absolutely incredible. And I know that there's lots of anti-aging, you know, skincares out there, but it's just incredible the science that LifeVantage has that backs those products. Mm-hmm. So in your opinion, what do you think the future of anti-aging looks like?
I think it's going to be all about gene activation. You know, I know we're leading the world and they're looking at us and, you know, and trying to catch up, but, you know, I think we're going to stay ahead of it because we're always looking. And, you know, it's great when you're first to market, but yeah, it's all about genes. You know, I mean, everybody's testing genes now. This company's doing this gene, and, you know, so it's all about manipulating your gene expression. That's pretty cool.
That's awesome. It's so cool to see that we are, you know, one of the leaders in the industry and leaders in gene activation, because I know that there's some companies out there that say that they're all about gene activation, but they don't have the science that backs that product or backs that science, or, you know, backs whatever they're trying.
So have to look, and that's so frustrating. Like telomeres, people will talk about lengthening telomeres. and look at their stuff. They didn't study their product. There's nothing, if you really look at it, that says that their product does anything. And nitric oxide's another one. You know, I've called out multiple companies. I said, okay, you know, I see your thing and you're referencing ingredients in your product, but where's the study that shows your product increases nitric oxide? And they'll be like, well, we don't have it. And that's probably 9/10 of the companies. They do not study their product. It's too expensive.
Wow, boom. That's really incredible. It sets us apart. So in closing, last question for absolutely incredible. Where do you see the future of LifeVantage and the future of our products?
Oh, I believe we'll, you know, be a multi-billion-dollar company. You know, it's just a matter of time. And I think we're a little bit different. So the process is a little slower because we're not going to be pushy. I mean, I think this industry has kind of a bad name about people that are pushy, and we're not like that. It's like, we have the science. We just want to educate you. You know, we can help you improve your health, but we can help you improve your finances. This is a great model, and we have great people. We're not cheesy, but, you know, I think people are skeptical because they've been exposed to so many companies that don't have the ethics that we do. And, you know, so it's just, I think, a matter of time. But I know that as far as the industry we're in, we are highly respected, and we're at the top, that everybody's trying to model what we do. So yeah, we're gonna be a leader in science and technology, I believe.
Oh my goodness. This company just gets better and better. And when we've got the likes of you on our science board, and, you know, you're able to lead this ship forward. And I know that our company is just going to go above and beyond. And ProTandem and LifeVantage is going to be a company that everyone knows about in the coming years. There'll be ProTandem on every single kitchen countertop that everyone takes in the mornings. And I know that, you know, it's just time before that happens. So I want to thank you so much for joining. I know it's nighttime there, and it's been a bit of a challenge with the time zones. I'm always getting them wrong. So I want to thank you so much for your time. You've been incredible.
Thank you. And I'll see you whenever we have another convention.
Yes. Robin and I, we spoke to Darren Jensen the other day, and I said, I don't care if you don't let me out of Australia in the next coming months, or you close the borders after that, just let me go to Global in Vegas.
I know, I'm so afraid they'll cancel them. I'm like, please don't, you know.
I saw that earlier today. I read the article.
I don't know. Go ahead and get a hotel room and just hope that they don't.
Yes, we need to be all in one room and sharing each other's energy.
Oh, here's the thing though. I almost feel like they did it on purpose. Like they let those two ladies slip in.
Bye.
See you later.
That's what I said, almost. Like, here's the thing though. Like, if they'd said, oh, the military's taking charge of blah, 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 people would have gone, rah, 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 rah.
Yeah, Michelle,
but because these two ladies have come in, everyone's like, it's about damn time. You know, like, just... It's just made
no range. So
I'm not saying it's
what sets our products, our skincare and our hair care ranges apart from the likes of the salon quality and the salon stuff that they sell and the cost point? Because I know some people say that our products and our hair care and skincare are too expensive, but when you compare it to other, you know, anti-aging hair care and skincare, what do you believe that sets us apart?
Hi Grace, thank you. I'm a beauty therapist, as you've said, and I have worked for the last 15 years in high-end salons. And as Deborah was saying, I was the same. I was like, I love my skincare. I know best. I'm not trying this. And so I've now been using True Science for about a month. And I have had the same reaction. People are like, oh my gosh, what are you using? What have you done? Did you have some resurfacing peel? And that's what I have changed. So it's funny, obviously they're really good with that science, with the activators. So of course the products are really good. I contract to a salon still. And in order to have a product that gets down that deep, that really can change dysfunction within the skin, I have a little help with me, to change dysfunction in the skin, it costs a lot of money, and it is a big deal. One of the products that we work with at the salon, you need cleansers and creams and oils and serums and so many, as well as having weekly 1.5 hour treatments to really fix the dysfunction in the skin and change what's happening on the surface. And this product being, four products that really affect, the skin and really change what's happening is just amazing. And the cost is like, a tenth. So yeah, really excited. I'm sorry, I've got a crying child next to me.
No, that's what we're about. We're all about network marketing and working from home and being flexible on a beautiful Saturday morning. So thank you so much, Michelle. I'd like to hand over to Vicky now. So Vicky is a 30-year beautician who again has a salon, I believe, down in Melbourne, or worked in the industry for 30 years. And Vicky, I'd really like to ask you how people can link their oxidative stress and their skin to the activators how the activators working with LifeVantage.
Cool, thanks, Grace. Well, you're right. It sounds really old when you say I've been in the industry for 30 years. So I originally started in New Zealand, and I had a clinic there for 20 years. And then I moved to Melbourne. So I've been here 6 years now. And when I moved, I had the opportunity, as you do, to design myself, I guess, and really wanted to hone in on skin health and anti-aging, because my view the whole way through my career has been on, the skin reflects your internal health completely. And I discovered this in the 90s, actually what Deb was saying. I trained in the early 90s. And so in those days, adrenal fatigue was very big. And so that played out on the skin. And I saw a big difference because I was seeing a number of clients coming to me that were working 70, 80, 90-hour weeks. So there was stress. The difference in their skin from a stress perspective was far more.
Vicky, can I completely throw you under the bus and ask you to unmute yourself and finish what you were saying?
Can you see me at all?
Yes, now we can.
I'm on my phone. How embarrassing.
Oh,
so what I was about to say with that pained look on my face was that the oxidative stress that's created. Oh, I see I've got my nice background up. That's great. You could see it on the skin because of the stress, because it was lining prematurely and giving us dull colour. So how Protandim works and debate and negating that oxidative stress in our body, what we now see on the skin is that because it's working on reversing or neutralizing the free radical activity, it's not breaking down our collagen, which is like the mattress of our skin. So that's what we see there is it's not creating sagging or loss of elasticity and firmness in our skin. So I don't know about you guys, you probably don't get that yet, Grace, but once you turn 40, aging becomes so much more of an issue, and it's like everything kind of heads south, and no matter how good and how many facials you have, you know what, you can get Botox and all that jazz, but sometimes you want a natural alternative, and that's where our products come in, from that internal side of things, and just working on that mattress of our skin, which is always fed. It always has been from the inside. Our skincare works on that epidermis, and the Protandim works on our dermal layer, so that support network. So I hope that makes sense.
I think that was perfectly timed too. Like, it was just, yep, there's Vicky. I'm just going to let her finish the sentence. So
Right.
Vicky was the last beautiful speaker tonight for that replay, and I just want to thank everyone for being on here tonight. If you've got any questions about anything that was mentioned, please go back to whoever invited you to this meeting. Otherwise, I'm sure Vicky and Michelle would be honoured if you reached out if you've got any questions from them. So I want to thank you for your time, and I hope you all have an incredible evening. See you later, guys.